Hi folks, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I want to talk about Starlink again to give a 3 version sort of Starlink overview. So I've had the version 2, I've now got the version 3, and I recently met with my mate Daz, who's got the Mini. And a lot of you said at the time, John, why didn't you buy the Mini rather than version 3? And I gave my reasons why, one of them which was the Mini wasn't available for the Roam package at the time, but since then, now the Mini is available on the Roam package, and therefore all the services from the Starlink system are available to not only the Gen 3, Gen 2, but the Mini as well. So I just wanted to go over some experiences, and obviously quite recently I spent some time with Daz in the same location, so we could compare things like, you know, power consumption of the Mini in comparison to the Gen 3, and upload and download speeds as well.
What's up, guys? So Gadget John has asked me to have a little chat about my Starlink Mini. Now I'm going to quickly jump on the phone, do a screen record and play something on my laptop, and I'm going to put this into 4K so you can now see the power. They're using about, currently it's using 22 watts on the average last 15 minutes. I am powering my Starlink Mini with on 240 volt. We've got the speed test on the app, which can be biased, so we'll do speed test. We'll do a few speed tests outside of the app, and then we'll get some proper data for John to go over and talk to you about, because I don't know as much about this as I'm talking about, because I just want internet. That is all I want. The times I need it is when I'm on campsites. Campsites tend to be, on the whole, in the sticks, and the other time is when I'm at shows. So I do a lot of the Warner shows. Definitely recommend you go to those. It's fine on a setup day because there's only a couple of hundred people there, but when the show's in full swing, there could be anywhere up to like 2,500 people there. So they're all trying to, you know, get their phones and their tablets and their laptops all pinging to the tower, and the tower's just going, no mate, no, it's not happening. You can all have it, but you're only having like that much. So, you know, you might have great speeds when you're setting up and you think, yeah, brilliant, we've got 100 down, we've got 20 up, brilliant. Soon as the Friday comes and everyone's there, you're getting virtually, you know, none of that. So that's again when I need Starlink, so that's where I put it on the roof. Now the bill, £96 a month. Yeah, that's a swift kick in the like I say, it isn't like I will say it's a luxury. It is a luxury. I'm not disputing that, but it is a necessity for me. It isn't like just that, oh, I really like that because I want that because it's shiny. It's, I do need the internet for my job. Yeah, I've got it just so it's on the roof, out the skylight. I have seen a few mounting options. Now I want the ability to be able to move it around, because then it gives me the option to then move it if I want to then go, you know, off backpacking or something, or go somewhere. Or I mean, I took it to Portugal with me with my mum a couple of weeks ago. That was pretty good. Yeah, hope this helps you out.
So how much smaller is the Mini over the Gen 3 dish? So I took down his dish off his roof and put it on mine on top of my Gen 3 dish, and as you can see, the Mini, Starlink Mini, is considerably smaller, like probably about a third of the size. So it does mean that mounting options, if you are going to permanently mount it, are going to be far easier with the Starlink Mini dish. So going back to my Gen 3 dish, this is aligned, so let's do a quick test for download speed. Again, this is in the Starlink app, so 300, yeah, 334 it settles at. Did get a bit higher, but yeah, 334 download. And what's that, 15 meg uploads. That's quite cool. The Mini is much smaller, it's much more compact, and it's meant to go in a backpack so you can take it anywhere. They even sell a little converter for it so you can power it off USB-C. Therefore, you might argue that it's more, how can you say, power efficient than version 3, which is the one I've got. But actually there's not much difference in it, so let's hit that one on the head straight away. So my average power draw is 33 watts So I switch the system on, use it extensively, and it's 34 watts if I use it a lot, or it's around about 32 watts if I use it a medium amount. So 33 watts is my average draw from the Starlink system, and I have got it on a 12 volt adapter, so I don't use it on mains. I use it on a 12 volt adapter, and it's routed through my router that's in my van. Spoke about that in my sort of unboxing of the Gen 3 video, if you want to go back and watch that and learn more about how it's actually set up in my van. But yeah, I was quite impressed for the last few months looking at the power draw of this system, that it's actually quite okay. Yeah, I was expecting there to be a bigger difference, and this brings me into the next point, which I spoke about at the time, which is that my job, so my actual job, not YouTube, requires me to be online, working away, making video calls, voice calls over IP, as well as basically connecting to remote servers and basically providing, you know, remote consultation services, if you like. So I need to be online. Mandy backs up off my internet to do her work if we are in remote locations, and her job is the same sort of thing. She uses a computer, she connects to remote systems and clients, talks over voice over IP. So therefore the quality of the connection is by far more important than how much power the Starlink system uses. And that brings us into the next kind of argument, which is how much difference is the connection in terms of, you know, data speeds, data throughputs, that kind of thing. And this is where it gets that much more interesting as well. So as you can see, the Mini doesn't get anywhere close to the kind of speeds that the Gen 3 gets, which is considerably important for me and for what I do. So if I'm uploading a video, for example, the video can be 3 gig, and the connection that Daz's Mini system has got over my Gen 3 system could make the difference between uploading a video in 30 minutes and 3 hours. And then we go into the concept of, well, okay then, so 30 minutes, not a lot of power needed. If it's just to upload a video and I've done all my other work, I can then switch everything off and I've saved power. So which is more efficient overall? And this is the crazy little bit, is where you've got, you know, the Mini with its low efficiency and low data speeds, and the Gen 3 with its, you know, slightly more power hungry system, but slightly faster. And then if you say, well, the Gen 3 can get the job done in 30 minutes, so it's only using, you know, 45 watts for 30 minutes. That brings its power consumption down if the Mini system is using, you know, 30 watts for 3 hours, and therefore its power consumption goes up. And this is the bit that I was trying to get across in my initial sort of concept of why I'd chosen the Gen 3 rather than waiting for the Mini. And I recently met up with another YouTuber friend, Thomas Heaton, who's a photographer. Go check him out if you don't follow him already. But we're in this lovely remote location where Starlink was an absolute must, and he's recently bought the Starlink Mini. So I thought I'd ask him about his experience of using it and what he thought about it. Apparently some guy made a video recently about Starlink and everyone started buying them.
Yeah, that was you.
How are you finding Starlink then?
Brilliant. I've always wanted it, but it was never viable because A, the hardware was too big, and you also had to have an external router. It's just too much faff. It was too expensive, and I'm not like you where you live in your van full time. I just go away for a long weekend every now and again. But where I do go, there's no internet. I have no phone service here. So I always wanted Starlink, but I was absolutely refused to sign up and pay monthly for something that I'm going to use for a few days of the month at the most.
Yeah.
But Starlink, I don't know if it's a new thing, but with the Starlink Mini, which by the way has no hardware at all, just the dish, a USB cable straight into my power, that's it. You can basically pause your subscription. So I pay £50 a month for 50 gig, which is pretty good. I'm never going to use 50 gig. But you can just pause it. So like when I go home and tomorrow or the day after, I know that I'm not really going to be away in my van probably till January. So just turn it off. So I'm not paying for it not being used, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it solves so many issues. The amount of times that I've stressed out driving literally 30 miles to either get good. If I'm in the Highlands of Scotland, I'll have to drive to Inverness to get good service.
All right.
Or to find a cafe with good Wi-Fi, and there's nothing more uncomfortable than ordering one coffee, sitting down, and then realizing your upload is going to take 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's awful. So now it's super fast, and it's literally opened up like the van for me, because it's such a stress. If I've got to upload a video but the weather's looking good and I want to go and do some photography, I always think, oh well, I've got to finish my video, I haven't got time to finish my video. Well, now I can just finish my video in the van,
yeah,
and upload it anywhere.
Well, I guess even stop to check on weather as well.
Yeah,
so
weather,
remote areas,
yes.
just to work out, can I stay here? Is the weather going to be all right?
Exactly. I remember being in up in the Cairngorms in Scotland, and I was there for 4 days, and I had zero service for 4 days, even in the small villages. Even I was in Pitlochry. Was it Pitlochry? I think I was in, and there was no phone service. So 4 days I couldn't check the weather. It was driving me mad.
Yeah.
Whereas this, yeah, as long as you're not in a forest,
yeah,
then you're
as
pretty
long
good.
as you can see the sky, you're all right.
Yeah, essentially.
We were checking last night when it uses, what is it, 19 watts or something like that?
19 watts is what this pulls.
Yeah.
And
so
I have sleep mode on it, so I'll just set it to go to sleep from like 10 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Right.
And then I don't have to faff on plugging it in the morning and stuff. It just turns off.
Cool.
Yeah, very good.
For everyone that says you can't use Starlink around trees, well, I beg to differ. I was getting over 300 meg download last night. As you can see, there are clearly trees around my location, but that gap there is enough, or rather that gap there in the sky was enough that we didn't have that many dropouts. Maybe once every 15 minutes as the comes streaming across the sky and it tries to maybe catch the signal or whatever. But it actually wanted the orientation should have been pointing that way. My dish right now is flat on the roof, pointing that way, so it's pointing that way, and most of the satellites it's trying to get hold of were over that way, and obviously half of those trees were in the way. But it still worked, so there we go. The way I'd worked it out was that the Gen 3 overall was going to be the least sort of power hungry, based on its faster connection and the fact that I'm running it off 12 volts anyway. You've seen the system I've got set up, so it runs off 12 volt, and I don't need the router it comes with. It goes into the router that I've already got. So I've got one router in my van, and whether I'm working on mobile networks or Starlink, everything connects to that one router, and it just simplifies everything in my van. I don't have to reconnect all my other stuff to it, my cameras, you know, my devices, my Alexa and all that kind of stuff. They're all still connected to my one router, and it just makes it that much more convenient and simplifies it for me. I've just got, you know, the Starlink's mounted on my roof as flat as it can, so I just go to the little cupboard in the back of my van, switch the 12 volt adapter on, and within 5 minutes Starlink's up and running. It's taken over the primary connection for the internet in my router, and everything just carries on working. So for me, simplicity, you know, the faster speed, and the not so bad power consumption, if you average it all out, puts the Gen 3 dish by far over the Mini as the better option for me. So given it's me and I wanted to test all aspects of it, if you like, I thought, I wonder whether the Gen 3 dish or Starlink in general is any good in motion, seeing as though they've now upped the price to £97 a month, but they've given you, in addition to extra services, and you can use it in more spaces, they're giving you in motion usage, which basically they're saying, you know, like, put it on the roof of your car, vehicle or whatever, drive around, and we won't charge you extra if we see it moving quickly and all that kind of stuff, which a lot of people did anyway. But I guess now they've just gone, you know what, maybe we can't see when they're doing that and charge them efficiently, so we'll just put our prices up and include it and say that that's fine. But anyway, I thought I'd see how good the Starlink network is in motion. So I did a 15-minute drive around Yorkshire, lots of S-bends, under trees, lots of fast roads and slow roads, and you can go and watch the video in full if you fancy that one, I'll link it down in the description. It's an unlisted video, so when I did it, I live streamed onto my YouTube channel me driving for 15 minutes. I did a bit of chatting, there's a bit of music in the background, so it's an unlisted video. It's not going to be publicized because it'll get copyright strikes and everything like that. But yeah, it's just me and Mandy chatting on the radio, a bit of radio chatter from the actual radio. And then just a bit of narration on top when I realized that I'd forgot to say anything for a few minutes while I was driving about what I'd found. So yeah, I am live streaming, just driving down the road. So it's my phone on a dash mount, just sort of like, you know, pointed out front, driving down the road. So there's lots of motion in the video, which YouTube doesn't like anyway when you're live streaming. And there's also the fact that I'm using Starlink in motion, and I am moving like up, down, left and right, and nice hairpin turns, and going really fast again. So my Starlink is trying to keep up with its connection to all the satellites. I noticed on the screen that it dropped out probably 3 times, definitely 2, where I saw the spinny circle and then it caught up again. But I've watched the live stream back and it looks like it dropped out 3 times, only because I cut off what I'm saying mid-sentence. Quality wise, when you're moving fast, quite poor quality. When you're turning, like, you know, sort of like hairpin bends and that, the quality does drop. But as you slow down to sort of 10 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour, or stationary, that picks up really fast, that connection, and then you get a really good quality signal back again. But like I said, I just wanted to give it a test. So if we're paying for an in-motion service, how good is it? And I guess it's really meant just to provide data, you know, to maybe a GPS device, so that if you're in the middle of nowhere, you're driving around, you can still find out where you are, or you stop and then the system picks your location quite quickly and then gives you the better data connection, so you can start using it again. So by in no way, shape or form am I saying that Starlink in motion is rubbish because you can't do a video you know, live stream or anything like that. I just wanted to do it as a test, just for, you know, shits and giggles sort of thing. So if you want to watch it, like I say, the full video is down in the video description, but as I've been narrating over this and waffling on, I've given you snippets of that, so you've been able to see what I've been talking about. Yes, £97 a month is a heck of a lot of money, but when it's part of your business plan, which it is for me to, you know, go and earn money, it's just an offset, and it's £12 a month if you take it in comparison to what it used to be. So for £12 a month, it's the first time it's gone up since I've owned it in, what was it now, 2 years, 2 and a bit years, nearly 3 years, maybe, no, 2 and a bit years. So I guess that my mobile contract goes up every year by a few quid anyway, so I'm expecting that it's not the last time they're going to put up the prices. So you get what I'm saying anyway, in comparison to paying extra £12 a month to get the in-motion service without being penalised for doing so. Yeah, it is worth it. And like I say, I get unlocked extra areas now, so I can travel around different areas geographically that otherwise I was locked down to, where I'd have to ring them and say, or change my contract and say, you know, I need that area now, I need this area. Now they're basically saying that you can move around that much more and we're a bit more flexible. So it works out all right. So yeah, update video. Still happy with my Gen 3 Starlink. I still think it is the best one out there for what I personally do. But Daz, like I say, he likes it because it's little mini. He can mount it in the same way I've got mine, but also he can chuck it in a backpack and take it anywhere. So if he goes to holiday somewhere where he doesn't want to buy the local SIM card or whatever, then he can just chuck it out of a hotel window or something like that and sort it out that way. Thomas Heaton as well has got one, and he has a little suction cup mount for his windscreen with a 1/4 inch kind of like screw thread mount, and that's how he gets internet when he's on the road. So there we go, folks. I hope that has helped. Yeah, if you are considering getting the Starlink Mini, it's a cracking system. You are paying the same price I'm paying for a lesser service. That's something I can't get around my head, but I agree for the portability and compactness of it. It is pretty cool. I think it's the same price to buy, or I think it's actually more expensive to buy than my Gen 3. That's what I looked at a few days ago anyway. Obviously prices change all the time, so please check the prices now. And I would love to give you an affiliate link where I earn something off Starlink for every person that signs up and all that kind of stuff. but they don't have that in the UK. So yeah, Starlink, if you are watching, which I know you're probably not, that'd be nice to have as well, as I'm acting as your sales force right now, if you like. Right, thanks for watching, folks. I'll catch you on the next video. Take care. Bye.